The United States witnessed an unfortunate event last week, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a political activist and debater who worked closely and extensively with students on college campuses. Since then, we have heard from a lot of people presenting their views on this situation, and one that felt very relevant to us was from Chamath Palyapitia on the All In podcast. He focused on the fact that a whole generation growing up in the COVID period have suffered through severe social isolation and were detached from the society. They created their own online subcultures and ideologies that are not in line with how a healthy society should function, right? And the reason that I'm bringing this up is that we at Vyry work closely with students, and we have identified a few core issues that we have been discussing endlessly in the last couple of years. Is that these issues are affecting Gen Z and Gen Alpha that very few people understand or even take seriously. Social isolation is one of them, being manipulated by the algorithm or many algorithms, foregoing critical thinking, surrendering to AI, etc. And now we are seeing the byproducts of these critical issues surface in terrible ways. So, Tommaso, what have we learned from our activities with students, and what is the future that we are trying to prevent at Fury?
Yeah, thank you, Romeo. Phenomenal questions, and absolutely shocked by the assassination of Charlie Kirk, because we should be living in a society in which having contrarian opinions and evangelizing those contrarian opinions should be simply a method of discussion. It should be actually be considered as an opportunity for us to reflect about the status quo of our opinions and understanding that over time mature. And in no circumstance should any human being um, have the rights to truly extinguish slash assassinate and kill, right, or silence through assassination, right, any other human being, right. That's an act of truly uh, ignorance and crossing any line that can be crossed, right. So my truly deep condolences to the family. I'm a family father, so to the family of Charlie Kirk, his wife, and I'm getting goosebumps. Father of two kids, to his kids. Now, going to the question, Romeo, for those who are maybe following or not following, however you are looking at and watching this video right now, you might eventually take a look also at the other videos that we when we talk about um, AI psychosis and social atrophy. And yes, we link it to a technology that we at Phygital are building with the application Vyry that lowers the truly student social isolation that they are suffering specifically at campus. But if you take a look at this at the root cause, right, we have a series of um, really deep anchored um, issues that this generation Z, generation Alpha, and actually the more concerning is generation Beta, has started to be impacted with, and it just starts evolving. So the order of magnitude of what you mentioned, COVID or doom scrolling or gaming is causing, and now the augmentation of that, or the um, eh, expedited growth of the impact that AI is having already, is truly um, scary. I was about to say, do I say it or not? Right? Um, at Digital, we are not just a technology play. We are not the nap. We are a movement that has really strong beliefs based on clear evidences that this society, this next generation needs support on how to coexist, to be social, truly social. And when I say social, um, to do not use that word, or don't process it in your mind right now and say social media. No, it's not. The last 25 years we have been made believe that the association of being social, meaning living and coexisting within an environment, is social media. Don't you see that what has happened actually to us as human being has brought us truly, essentially apart, and that social media is actually just media, or that gaming, as fun as it is, and I'm in favor of all those things, I'm not a doomer at all, right? But it has primarily sharpened senses when it comes to gaming, right, on how to truly almost aggressively compete, because most of the games, over 50%, are first, first user shooter games, right? So what we have been sharpening is actually how we are not social, or want to be interdependently, empathetically, culturally coexisting with others. Okay? So let me zoom out, Romeo. If, God forbid, right, you, me, we fall, break a leg, we go to orthopedics, we need to go to rehab, right? That's a severe problem, right? And we need to go through certain activities, right, that rehabilitates and bring us back to the status to which we are in, right? And depending on the severity, maybe you have it forever. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning that is, guys, because this is really severe, right? We're seeing here and there some sparks and some issues, such as the assassination of Charles Kirk, right, which is kind of the already an extreme, right, of what is a human being, of what causations are of a human being that has attributes or has lived through a hard period, such as COVID. Right. The question is, what do we do as a society? What is it we do? What is it we do now that AI is phenomenally great, but AI is the very first technology, dear ladies and gentlemen here listening, that we are throwing back at us without truly putting any filters in it. There is nothing on planet Earth that has been built in a very quick way and has no side effects. And for the very first time, AI is catapulting the human species into a position and into a role that we as humanity have never had, mainly the one that we are being replaced. So if you actually start building the equation of, wait, we are being replaced, and yet that's a fact, okay, and that AI is being actually catapulted back into society in a very quick manner without building ethics, moral, and how we are guided, right? We as a human being, we as an intelligent species, we as a species who thinks, we as a species who actually needs to have continuously a critical thinking, we need to say, oops, yes, we see some benefits, which definitely, I love AI, who doesn't, right? But how can we be aware of the side effects? And there are massive side effects. And AI psychosis is real. What is again AI psychosis? The fact that you overinterpret emotions into the embodiment of AI. What's an embodiment of AI? AI is either presented through a chatbot that we see and we know all, right? The famous Anthropics of this world, right? And open AIs, right? Chat GPTs, but then it's in a robot, and the robot can have forms as adults or autonomous vehicle, all there to basically complete jobs, outtask things that we have been used to do. And because we outtask things, hey, do this, hey, think for me about that, hey, I have an emotional problem, what would you do? And that's already happening, right? And the evolution is just becoming asking more, and technology is becoming better. So if we already started doing it now, and we see these side effects of, oh, wait a second, the more I outtask, the less I think, the less I think, the less I use my muscle memories, the less I actually do myself stuff, like the less I lose the capability of what? The capability of truly being critical in front of certain aspects. Why? Because, oh, what AI served me must be right. The capability of me losing the actual motorics of doing something because the robot is doing it, right? And with that, the capability of us socializing. Why? Because we now have an emotion. We are building an emotion, right, towards this thing that actually looks pretty much alike a human being, and it feels like a new species. And if you don't believe, please Google right now or ChatGPT robots that are for intimate purposes, right? Right now I'm reading a phenomenal book that is breaking it down the three stages of humanity evolution. And I'm looking at the title up because it's called Life 3.0, right? And it actually speaks about what is the Life 3.0, where it makes a case where the first human species was actually the molecules. The second human species is us, and us as a human being, where we were growing and were modeling through challenges, right? Our evolution, right? But we couldn't have any impact on our the book calls it hardware, our body, right? And the third species is now truly having a species of human being where you are also have the ability to also define and adjust the hardware, meaning the robots area, right? So long story short, what is it we do? We have clear evidences that we are underestimating what social atrophy is about to cause. In an extreme fall, the extinction of human being. By the way, if you combine that with the decline of reproduction plus elderly being the majority of humanity, plus we falling in love with robots, that are signs that we have signs on the table that don't speak in favor of humanity. Now, what is the solution? We pledge at Phygital with the Vyry application to create a world, a physical digital dimension, right, that support the mind, the spirit of the human being by allowing always three things, right? And number one, what is it? Number one, it's the importance of being outside. So the tendency of human beings who are involved with machines and AI is to be inside. And so we say, go outside. Has a series of benefits. Outside means, vitamin D, sun, you start smelling environment, so you're immersed in the real world, you're walking, so you have an activity, right? There are a series of research that show just you walking outside is positive for your mind, right? But then we say to students, you are not only outside, right, but you also introduce like-minded peers. So we do basically on the background, right, on the back end, an effort to specifically for students right now, that's how we starting out, right, to do a matchmaking, right? So we say, hey, based on you play the guitar, Romeo, I play the guitar, right, let's do something together. So really introduction of groups, right, so that you are IRL in real life, the importance of IRL, right, and the benefits of it with like-minded people. And then in order to reduce attention, this is very important, the awkwardness, the shyness, or the lack of capability of you introducing yourself, right, we create activities that you do together, right? Activities that have an inclination towards and into your affinity. So at all times at Vyry, we are three things: outside, together, and playful. And by the way, don't say playful because it's a game. It's not a game, but it's a new way of living, a new way of fostering community, a normal way of fostering community, a physical digital way of fostering community, which reduces social atrophy and psychosis and social isolation to up to 40%. So my really big ask here for those who are listening, that is, you're invited to be part of this movement. And by the way, I'm not here to share or sell any technology. It is truly for humanity. So we are opposing AI as a friend, because AI is not our friend, AI is to serve us. And we are embracing the human spirit. If you by these sentences feel touched, if you by these sentences are actually seeing beyond just a video, this is not a promotional video. This is really an appeal to humanity and say, this is the most serious thing that humanity has ever faced. Join us. Let's be together. Let's do this. Let's build it together, not just for the next generation, but together with the next generation. And I already, Tommaso, humbly would like to thank you. Humanity needs us.
Absolutely, and that was an amazing explanation. This is not just a company; this is a mission, right? And not just like saying it's a mission. We are actually have identified the core issues that are not a product, but that needs a solution to cure a disease that humanity and the civilization either is starting to go through, or will most definitely will go through in the very near future, right? So yeah, absolutely. And as always, Tommaso, it has been amazing having these discussions with you. So if anyone who wants to try out Vyry, please visit the Vyry app, join the community, and we'll see you in the Vyry world.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye bye.